Hey, what is up everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, I've got a little bit of a different viewpoint today. I've got a little bit of a different background. I'm closer to my movies. I'm back here by my Blu-rays. I'm actually, since I'm talking about Vestron, I made sure I got close enough to my Vestron video line back there, because not only am I going to be talking about Earth Girls Are Easy, the latest Vestron Video Lionsgate release, I am also going to be giving you 4 other Vestron titles that I think are good enough for you to add to your collection. But look, before we get into talking about Earth Girls Are Easy, and just, look, I'm going to tell you right now why you should buy this, like, immediately. Before we get into talking about that, I need you to subscribe to the channel for more great content. We do tons of stuff on this channel. We review and talk about Blu-rays and 4Ks, and we do physical media breaking news announcements, haul videos, unboxing videos, live streams, everything physical media. We do it on this channel every single day. So hit the subscribe button if you like that kind of stuff. And also, you know, leave me a comment down below. What do you think of Earth Girls Are Easy? Is this one of your jams from back in the day, from back in the 80s? You remember growing up with this one? Let me know in that comment section below. Be sure to like the video and then turn on the bell notification. So I watched this movie last night. We're going to get into Earth Girls Are Easy. So the title of this video, I'm trying to think, what am I going to title this video? It's probably going to be like 5 Vestron video titles that you absolutely 100% need to add to your collection, something like that. So I watched this last night and I was really anticipating this release. I was really looking forward to it. I freaked out when it was announced, because this is just one of those movies that I remember from my childhood watching, like, a lot. Like, my sister loved this movie. We used to watch it together all the time, and I just forgot about it. And I don't think I'd seen it for like 20, 25 years. And then it was announced and it's like, oh my God, Earth Girls Are Easy. Like, I remember that. So it's one of those kind of movies that you've seen so many times, but you just kind of forget about over time, and then somebody brings it up and it comes back. So I was really anticipating this one, and I gotta say, watching this last night, it didn't disappoint. This was a hell of a lot of fun, and I was a little apprehensive on how this would hold up as an actual movie, rather than just, you know, me being nostalgic for it and just having those nostalgia glasses on. But I actually think it's a really good movie with some really solid comedic performances. Geena Davis has so much charisma, just so much natural charisma. Like, she could just be on screen and it's just, you just are drawn to her personality and just who she is. And I love her in this movie, but not only this movie, but also Beetlejuice, A League of Their Own is one of my favorite movies. The Fly. I'm a big fan of Geena Davis. And apparently this movie does have Jeff Goldblum in it as well. And I know that they got married at some point. I don't know if maybe that was between The Fly and Earth Girls Are Easy. The Fly was in 1986. This was in 1988, I believe. So they were married very briefly. I don't think it was a very long amount of time or anything, but the director of this movie, which has an excellent special feature on this release, a new special feature, which we'll talk about here in a second. The director of this movie actually talked about, who directed this damn film? I need to get my stuff together. Julian Temple, he actually talked about how they were just all over each other on set. Like, they were inseparable. Like, you could just tell they were, like, madly in love when they were filming this film. So, you know, that was cool to hear, I guess. But of course, Geena Davis, excellent. Jim Carrey in this movie, so good. I can't remember all the aliens' names. It's like Mick Black and blah, blah. I wish I could remember everybody's name. But they're like weird, like, mouth sounds they use for the aliens' names. But it's about 3 aliens that come down to Geena Davis. She's having some trouble in her romantic life with her fiance, I believe it is. And he goes away. He's out of the picture for a little bit, and these aliens crash land on Earth. And, well, they spot her from, like, a big telescope, and they crash land in her pool while she's out, like, getting a tan. And she goes in the ship, and they're a bunch of fuzzy aliens. Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans as well, who's just so hilarious. And she discovers the aliens. She brings them in, and she tries to figure out where to go from there. She eventually, you know, gets them groomed and their hair shaved, and then they're the actual actors in the movie just playing aliens. So it's very silly. It's a very silly premise, very far-fetched. But it works. It works, and I tell you why it works. It just has that 80s vibe. It has that 80s feel that doesn't feel extremely dated. It's still relatable because the story's relatable. And it's just a timeless kind of story, kind of movie that just really captures that time period. It is a little bit of a time capsule movie. But I just love it. I think it's fantastic. One thing I forgot about it, though, one thing I forgot about this movie is that it was directed by a director who did a bunch of music videos throughout his entire career. Like pretty much all he did was music videos. I think he directed a couple other films, Julian Temple. So there's like some musical aspects to this. Like there's some musical numbers like within the first 30 minutes of this movie, which I completely forgot about, to the point that when they started to come up, I was like, okay, like is this a musical? And we got one number, we got two numbers, and I think there was a third one a little bit later, but they kind of cooled off on it after the second one. So I thought it was going to be a full-blown musical, but it ended up not being a full-blown musical. But the movie was written by Julie Brown. Took part in writing this movie, I believe, but she also starred in it. She was the friend. She was up to play Gina Davis's part, but I think the studios wanted somebody that was a little bit more legitimate at the time to star as Gina Davis's character. But yeah, I really don't know what else to say about it. I didn't write anything down to come over here to talk about this movie. I never do, but I just had a whole lot of fun with it. It's a funny movie. Like Jim Carrey, like he was so good at the physical comedy, just some of the stuff he does in this movie. Also, Damon Wayans as well is super underrated. Jeff Goldblum more or less plays kind of the straight alien character, but Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey in this movie are kind of the sidekicks, and they're just hilarious. Like Damon Wayans, how he wants to eat everything in sight. He's like drinking lava lamps. It's hilarious. I love the physical comedy by both of those comedians, and I don't know. I have to think that A Living Color had at least started by this point. I don't remember when A Living Color actually started. I know it was probably like the late 80s, if not the late 80s, early 90s. So they were probably on In Living Color at this point, Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans, when they did this movie. And no guess as to why they picked them to be in this movie. They're just fantastic at delivering this kind of fish out of water, comedic timing and personality, and just provided a great addition to this movie. So I don't know what else to say about it. It's super fun. It's silly. You know, it's not a masterpiece by any means. Don't go into this movie thinking that, but it's super fun. And this Vestron video release is only, guys, I think it's like 1060 right now. Like that's a ridiculously low amount for a new Blu-ray. Like you don't see that all the time in a Blu-ray of this caliber with such great artwork on it. Like the artwork on this is insane. Let's get into talking about the packaging a little bit. I just love the work that Vestron Video does with the artwork. We'll show the inside. No reversible cover art or anything like that, but they do have a digital code in here. They do have disc art. And yeah, it's just a really nice release. I do enjoy this release by Vestron Video. So yeah, that's the packaging. It looked great. Looked absolutely fantastic. Like I thought the Blu-ray transfer, and this is the first time this movie has been on Blu-ray. A lot of people still own their DVD copies, and they did not think this would ever get a Blu-ray release, and it finally did. And it looks fantastic. Like the, you know, the furry alien look of Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, Jeff Goldblum, when they're still kind of in their costumes, like all that stuff looks amazing in HD. The colors are super vibrant. Like there's just, this is just a very 80s, but very colorfully 80s movie. Like it's just so many colors going on in this movie all the time. You know, whether it's like the decoration in the house or just like the actual aliens themselves, but the spaceship that lands in the pool is very colorful as well. Just a lot of colors, and I thought it looked really great. I thought the Blu-ray transfer, it's not perfect. It's definitely not the most amazing Blu-ray transfer that I've ever seen, but I thought it looked pretty great for this release. And this also, guys, has a, well, let's get into the audio for a second real quick. This is an English 2.0 DTS HD Master Audio. All the audio I thought sounded fantastic. This movie has a great soundtrack, a great sound to it, a great beat to it, a great score as well, and I thought everything sounded phenomenal. But the thing I gotta really commend Vestron and Lionsgate for is the addition of new special features. Like you can't get that out of studios like Warner Brothers. Like we just reviewed 2 of their titles with Casablanca and Christmas Vacation. No new special features on those. Christmas Vacation didn't even have anything on it like at all in terms of special, except for an audio commentary. And then just all the studios, like Sony's the only one right now of the studios that I can't say anything bad about. I cannot shit on Sony for not doing special features. They've been doing some really great work and really been stepping it up. But Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal, like nothing new on any of their releases. So Vestron Video, though, added 3 new in-depth interviews and conversations with the director, with the writer and actress. And also, I'm trying to see what the other interview was. Julie Brown and Jillian Temple gave the 2 interviews. And then there was interviews with director of photography, Oliver Stapleton, and production designer Dennis Grassner. So just tons of great interviews on here. Like, they're all 20 minutes. It's an hour worth of new interviews, and I just think that's fantastic. There's also an audio commentary on here as well with actress and co-writer Julie Brown. So I don't know if that's new or not, but I don't think it is. I think it's a past one. Then there's the old archival, stuff. There's the behind the scenes footage, deleted scenes, outtakes, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, still gallery, storyboard, and there's a vintage interview with actor Charles Rocket as well. There's another vintage premiere night promo, featurette, Earth Girls karaoke. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Interview with a special makeup effects supervisor, Robert Clark. So just tons of great stuff in this release, guys. Like, new interviews and features. Like, you can't beat that for a release. That, guys, look, for a release that is 1060. Like, how do they get away with that? How do they price this? This is a boutique level release from Lionsgate and Vestron, and I think they're doing great work. Support this, guys. Even if this is not a movie that was necessarily on your radar, it's very cheap. It's a very fun movie. Trust me, guys. Trust me. Support this. If you haven't seen this movie, click the link down below. Purchase this movie. Again, it's only 1060. Support Vestron, Lionsgate, giving us these cheap boutique level Blu-rays right here. Absolutely would recommend that. So we'll get into 4 really briefly, guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time here, but these 4 are definitely 4 of my favorites in the Vestron Video line. A few of them are pretty recent, but we'll talk about the first one in the line. That's Chopping Mall. So I thought this was super fun about killer robots taking over a mall. It's also good. Now, this is from back in the day of the Vestron Video line where these were costing about $25, so they're a little bit more pricey back then. But there are, some good special features, audio commentaries on here as well. So just some great work. It looked great as well. It's got Kelly Maroney in this, who is also in Night of the Comet. I need to see more of her stuff because I really love her. She's got a really charismatic personality. And it's also got Barbara Crampton is in this movie as well. But yeah, Chopping Mall is super fun. Killer robots taking over a mall. And you wouldn't really get that from the cover of this either. But another Vestron Video release that I absolutely recommend is Sundown, Vampire Retreat. This one came out last year. I had a hell of a time with this one. It's got Bruce Campbell in it. It's kind of like a Western vampire movie. So take that for what you will. It's also got David Carradine in it, who is, Bill from Kill Bill. So really good cast, really fun story. Like, it breaks out into like a full-on Western war vampire movie by the end of this movie. I think it's super fun. So Sundown, Vampire Retreat, definitely pick that one up. Also Little Monsters. This is super nostalgic for me as a child. I love watching this movie with Fred Savage, Howie Mandel. I watched this when I first got it. I think this one when did this come out? Back in 2020. I think this was one of the first ones that they came back with. And I remember thinking it looked pretty good, but definitely not the best. Like, I feel like they could do better with it. This is one that I feel like they could do a 4K of, and it would look amazing because that whole underworld, nightmarish, stuff underground underneath the bed. I think all that stuff would look fantastic. I think Howie Mandel as the monster would look amazing. So I would love to see them do a 4K of this one because I think they could do better work with the actual transfer. But the movie's super fun. It's so good. I love Little Monsters. It is a complete classic from my childhood. You guys this is why I saved this one for last, because if I would have came out with this one first, you guys would have just shut off the video because you thought I was crazy. But let me talk about Candyman, Day of the Dead. This was an excellent release from Vestron Video. First off, the picture quality on this was actually pretty excellent. For a Vestron Video release, or Vestron Blu-ray. This came out in January. I had some fun with this one. Now, I love the original Candyman. Haven't seen Farewell to the Flesh in quite some time. I did recently get it in my Screen Factory Shocktober sale. But I had never seen this one, and I watched it, and it's not good. I'm not going to sit here and BS you and say it's a good movie. But it's just good enough, I think. And Candyman, Tony Todd is just so good as the character, and he's still trying. I feel like he's still trying to perform as this character, even though the movie isn't the best around him. But I don't know. I had fun with this one. I thought it had some good kills. They actually dive into Candyman's backstory a little bit more in this one, which I enjoyed. And I just thought it was a fun release. It has some good special features, and it's got a lot of special features, that commentary. And I'm just loving the work they do, even though the movies aren't always the best. Like, the work that they put into these with new interviews and features and all that kind of stuff is just incredible. And look at the artwork on that. That alone should sell you. But this has been on sale, I think, for like $7-8, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably still get the slipcover. But I will link that down below. So yeah, guys, look, if you're going to get any of these, get Earth Girls Are Easy. Support this. It is such a fun movie, such a good movie with a great cast and excellent release, new special features. We need to support this kind of stuff for sure. And then, you know, if you got some money left over, buy some of these other Vestron video releases. We got some other fun ones behind me right here. Let me give y'all some bonus recommendations real quick. I always got to talk about Maximum Overdrive, directed by Stephen King. This is another classic from my childhood. I love this movie so much. Machines taking over the world. You can't beat it. And The Wraith. This one is a really good movie as well. It's kind of like a revenge, almost like a supernatural revenge movie. It's got Charlie Sheen in it. So good cast in that one. But there you have it, guys. That is my Earth Girls Are Easy review / Vestron recommendation video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below some of your favorite titles from the Vestron video line. Also, let me know if you're going to purchase Earth Girls Are Easy and what your thoughts are on that movie. Turn on the bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.